how to use Excel. So this is the Excel video, not the numbers video. They're very different. So when you open up Excel, you're going to have a sheet that looks like this. You're only going to need one sheet. So remember, for the grade 9s, 8s and 9s, you have 8 data sets. For the grade 6, 7s, you're going to have between, what did we say, 6 or 5 and 7. Okay, so the big thing here is when you click into a cell and I type in Mr. Paul's spreadsheets. Now you'll see I clicked on A1 to do that, but it spreads over the rest. Okay, so it's really important that when you're doing this, that you have it, it's called left justified. If I hit center on this, okay, the center tab, you see how it kind of moves away? Because it's going to center it based on the cell I entered it in. Okay, so in here I'm going to put a number 1 because this is my first data sheet, and this is going to be the average monthly highs and low, high and low temperatures in where do we want to go? How about Bali today? Okay, so remember my independent variable is going to be first, the average monthly, and temperature, high and low temperature, my independent variable is going to be second. Now, funny thing, when you go in here, if I try and edit the middle of this sentence, do you see how it just goes blank? That's because I wrote this in A4. So if you want to edit it, you actually have to click on that square, or if you notice up top, I can go in and make any additions I want to make to this. Okay, and just so you know, if you click on that square and maybe we want to make this bold, you can really fancy and make it blue. Okay, so this one here changes the color. This one here, so I'm in A1, make it bold, and it makes the whole thing bold. If you want to make the font a little bigger, Mr. Paul's spreadsheet. Okay, you know what, let's make this one a little bigger too, just so it's easier to see for the video. Now, when we're making our t-table, we are going to use 2 columns. All right, now you see how they're kind of small? Now I'm going to recommend you do something here, and I'll make your life a lot easier. When you print it out, it won't look as nice, but right now that's okay because we're just collecting or recording data. So in this one, you see how I have Mr. Paul's spreadsheet, average monthly highs and low. I'm going to move over to column B. B is the one I'm going to use here. So remember, I start with my bracket X. This is going to be my header. This is going to be month. That fits in okay. When I go to Y, my independent variable, this is going to be highs. And remember, my bracket parentheses is going to be Celsius. I'm typing it out because if you just go C, I wonder if it'll work in this one. See, it goes copyright. There's a fancy way to get the degrees Celsius. It's just easier to write Celsius right now. Okay, so that was my high, but then I have another dependent variable. And this is going to be low, and it's also in Celsius. But you see how this one gets cut off here? Let's see if I can actually enlarge this. Just give me one moment. View, zoom, let's go 150%. There we go. So here it says high Celsius. Okay, the way we deal with this is that you are going to go up to C, right up here, and I click on it. All I did was hit one mouse click on it, and it highlights it. And if you watch my arrow, it's going to turn into a double arrow. This is where we have some fun. So what I'm going to do now is, as I have the double arrow, I'm going to single click it, and I'm going to drag it over. Oh, now I can see it all. See that? Same thing here. See how I have this line that goes through Celsius? I click on the D, that's a single click, move my cursor till I have 2 arrows, and then drag it over. Okay? If you want to make it really sharp, all I'm doing there is I'm clicking and then dragging it across all 3, and I'm going to drag that, and now I have them all the same width. Okay, so one more time, I clicked and dragged across, And then I'm just going to adjust one of the columns, and it'll make all three the exact same size. It's like magic. I love that. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to recommend you do here is when you go month, you can go January, then hit enter, it'll go to February, March, match, that's not right, March, April. Now you can keep typing those all in. There's a really neat function in Excel. If I just click on January, and you see how I get this blue border here? If I put my cursor right on the corner, I can highlight this. And I just dragged it down. Okay. Now the neat thing here is that once I have this set, I'm going to go back to the corner, and it should, see in the corner it says October, November, December. This is called autofill. Okay, so I'll just redo that. So if I type in the first two, you need 3 or 4. So I click on January and hold my mouse button down and drag down to April. Next thing I do is I'm going to put my cursor, so that's the thing that moves around, right on the corner. And now I'm just going to drag that down. You can see the little yellow words that tells me what's going on, and that autofills. It saves me a whole bunch of time. Now, high, Celsius and Bali, let's say in January it's 34. Now if I hit the tab button, it's the tab button, takes me across to the low. And here, let's say the low is 26. Now you would put in your real data. Another little shortcut. If I hit enter now, return, it's going to take me back to the first column I was entering in. So let's go 35. To move to the right, I hit tab. 23. Next thing I'm going to hit is enter. Okay, so just so you know, tab goes to the right, and return goes down. Now, here we go again. So 35, 22, enter. 36, tab, 23. So I'm just going to enter in a bunch of data here. Now know that this is not legitimate data. I'm making this up as I go just for, oh, I hit enter and it went down. 25, 36, tab, 21, enter. 35, tab, 40, oh, that doesn't make sense, 20, enter. So you get the idea, okay? Now, you notice that how all the data is kind of off to the right-hand side. Okay? If you want to make these look really good, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the month, and you're going to move your mouse or your cursor all the way over to the last column, and then drag it down. So what I've done is I've highlighted this entire section. At the top, you have a little bar, okay? And the one on the left means it moves all the words to the left. So see how that moved? If I do the one in the center, it moves them to the center of each cell. This is what we're looking for with this kind of data table. It makes it really easy to read. Coincidentally, if I hit the one on the right, it moves everything to the right-hand side of the cell. So we want it in the center. Okay. Now on PC this might be a little different, and if it is, let me know. Okay, and you know I'm a dedicated Mac user. Now the other thing is that if you go up to this, like, it looks like a little box with dotted lines. I'm going to click on that, on the little arrow, and in here it gives me all kinds of options. The easiest one is to do the all borders. And what this is going to do is, if you can kind of see it there. What happens is that this makes it look like there's lines in it. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like when you print it out. So we'll go page layout. No, that's not what I'm looking for. View, normal, view, hold on here. I'm just going to do this in a print. Okay, so right here, this is what it's going to look like when I print it. Okay, so the chart is going to have those lines around it. If you don't put those lines around it like I just showed you, by going up to the little thing there and hitting all borders, the numbers aren't separated by anything. Now if you want to get really fancy, you can highlight the top row and go down to here where it says top and thick bottom border. And what this is going to do is put a nice thick border underneath. Okay, so that way it's really clear. So right here I have my title, I've got my first graph, and I've got my lines in there. This here is a 100% graph. Now, instead of going to the left, I want you to put the next graph underneath. So this one we're going to go 2. This is average rainfall, average monthly rainfall. Average monthly is our independent variable. Rainfall in Bali. And again, remember, if I click on that one cell, so this one is now A23, I can make it bold, I can increase the font a bit, I can even change the color. Okay? Now this one we're only going to have 2 different variables. So the first one is going to be X in parentheses, month. That's it. The next one is going to be Y in parentheses, which is brackets. This is rainfall. And this one we're going to do in days. Okay, so remember I have one independent variable or dependent variable in this one. Now notice how my days is out a little bit. Okay, so here what's going to happen is that this is going to change the top one a little bit, but that's okay. So I just adjust my column by clicking on C, moving it over a little bit. If I scroll up, it's not going to change that too much. Okay, you want to keep these titles as short as you can. So here again we have January, February, March, April. I'm going to highlight those, or you can just type them all in, whatever you find fastest. August, September, October, November, December. Somehow that doesn't look like it's right. January, February, March, April. Something went funny there. March, April, May. So I'm just going to delete these. June, July, August. June, July, August. Obviously something went wrong there. So I'm just going to delete those. April, we'll just type these in. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Perfect. Rainfall. Now this is in days, so again I'm just going to make this up. Now I only have one column here, so if I hit 5 and hit enter, it takes me down. Again, this is all made up information, so don't use this in your own. Now we got that done. Next step, want it all centered, so I highlight it with one click and then drag my cursor or my mouse around up at the top, and I want to center. And I go for my borders, apply all borders, and because Mr. Paul likes things to look really nice, I do top and thick bottom border. Okay, so that's the 2. One more example. If you have something that is really unique, you'll notice these dotted lines. You can also put them to the left. The dotted lines just show you where the pages are. So right now I have one page. We'll just go to File, Print. We'll take a look at what it looks like. So as you can kind of see here, what I've got is I've got 2 graphs on one page, very clear. Yours can be smaller. My fonts are really big just for the demonstration of this video. So once again, guys, make sure you save it as something you can remember. You can load it up into your Locker, and then we can use this data.